This is Christoph Yalik.
This is Just Janet.
And this is K. Colley.
And this is
the Just Nuggets Podcast.
Welcome, everybody, and we're back with another episode of the Just Nuggets Podcast. It's a new year, and I just want to say, how's it going? Just Janet, how you doing today?
I'm great. Thank you for asking. I'm loving that we're back, and it's a new year. We got a lot to talk about.
Chris, how you doing? Christoph?
Good. Just want to wish everyone listening a happy new year, and an extremely happy new year to the Denver Nuggets. Off to a hot start after last night's game. We'll get into it, but happy new year, folks.
And I just want to say, at the beginning of this podcast, we talked about it being a good Nuggets year. I think we said that we had some high expectations. I know we even talked about championships, but it is good to see them as we're the number one seed in the West as of today.
Yes.
The start of January. And I think that's pretty good considering we still have had Jamal coming back into form.
Yes.
Michael Porter was out for a big stretch of that time. Bones Highlands was out for a stretch of that time. So to see us still as the number one team in the West is got to be a good sign as a Nuggets fan. What do you all think?
I think we're gelling. I think we're starting to do what we got to do. I see more defense being played, which I love. And some of the stars are rising. We could talk about specifically in a minute all those stars that are rising on the starters from starters, the bench players, and the mix that we get all the time on the court. But of those two groups, but I think the stars are aligning in a great way.
Let me ask you this: as far as these first set of the games, now that we're into the new year,
yes,
who's been a Nugget outside of Joker that you have just been proud to watch this year?
I say it all the time. You listen to my conversations on prior episodes. AG. He continues to be the man. Years ago we needed, after Kenyon Martin left, we didn't have this enforcer kind of power forward, established figure. And then when AG got drafted or got brought into the Nuggets, and Joker and him had to, have some camaraderie, had to get some, established way of playing and who does what and how and get the feel for each other. And I think they are there. I mean, they are just a team. They're just I love it.
It's a team with focus this year.
Yeah.
I think that other years, 2019 we had a little bit of, but we were a younger team.
Yes.
And I think the last 2 years we've been hurt with injury, but I think this one is like, hey, we have the team to compete. We have the talent to compete. And there's really just no excuses and with this year as far as for reasons not to be there. As long as we, outside of health, but I'm saying as far as what we can accomplish this year, I think everybody's playing with that. We can do something important this year, and we can attack the West.
It's definitely trending that way, and like you said, it's a little bit of luck to keep healthy all the time and everybody on the court, but that's everybody's problem in all facets of any game. So, but so far so good. What do you think, Christoph?
Yeah, I think since the last episode of the Just Nuggets podcast, the Nuggets have kind of evolved into a more well-rounded, and I think the word Kyle used that I violently agree with is focused.
Yeah.
Mike Malone, we were joking about it last night, has learned the rotation of keeping one starter in with the bench. And I think that has really helped the flow of it. And it's just when you see KCP and Christian Brown and with Bones and Jeff Green when he's healthy, and Kankar, who's been unsung this year.
Yeah.
I think it's just been great. And I think it's not even it's I know, and maybe just for the 2 years, it's kind of like left my brain, or you look at it's like that Wolverine meme when you're like in the bed looking at the old photo of what once was. But to answer your question, Jamal. And over the last couple games, specifically the Portland game, the Memphis game, the Phoenix game, Miami, he's like the closer.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And that is something that they missed for those 2 years in those playoff runs. They missed his presence throughout, but like that, his ability just to
take over,
knock down those shots in those last 4 minutes.
Sure.
It is his time. It becomes his time.
Yeah.
Jokic gets you there. Jokic can close a game too.
I love when Joker not only can close the game, we ever have to go to overtime.
You
can count on him. It's almost like, I got to get out of here. I got a baby at home. I got a wife at home. I got to go. Get out of here.
I think he still has flashbacks to that three overtime game against Portland in the Western semifinals in 2019.
Right.
He's like, yeah, we don't want to do that no more. Like we finish our overtimes when we do.
Yeah, before the first overtime, that doesn't happen anymore.
And speaking of Joker, Chris, as far as I'm looking at it now, he's had 5 triple-doubles in the last 8 games.
That's nuts.
It's incredible. And literally outside of, and we'll talk about this person too, outside of Luka, like what they're doing right now, what Joker's doing right now is crazy. It's crazy when you talk about the efficiency of how he's scoring. He's at like 60% from the field. He's hitting his threes. He's getting the team involved. And I'm a big fan of Joker, the scorer first that goes into passing. Because when Joker's like very much like facilitating, you can see that the teams actually are like, oh, he's just passing today. We'll guard out. But when he's actually a force at scoring, now teams are double teaming him, and then he's getting his assists regardless because Joker's going to facilitate.
Yeah,
but I just want to know what you've been seeing from.
It's actually kind of strange when you think about it that he's the back-to-back MVP, and you can make an argument that this year he's better.
Yeah,
this is his best season as a pro, and it's a lot of things. I think this is the best Nuggets team he's ever been on.
Yeah.
And that's saying something because that 2019-2020 team was phenomenal. Mm-hmm. We went back and watched some of those bubble games highlights just to, I don't know why. I just wanted to. It was just such a great couple month and a half in Orlando, at least from a Nuggets fan perspective. Mm-hmm. But that team was excellent. I think this team is slightly better in some elements. It has a championship pedigree. Say what you must about his participation within it, but KCP's won it. He's done it at a high level. Bruce Brown has become one of those guys who's a glue guy on a deep-going playoff team. He's proven that he's there. Obviously, the Nuggets, they have their core has been deep in the playoffs and goes to the playoffs year in year out and typically gets out the first round. Mm-hmm. So they know what it takes to close out a team to end someone's season. And just bringing it back to December and early January, I think Yoke, he's learned the NBA. He's got to that point where it's slowed down to him. He already moves at a slow pace out there, but it's like super slow. He knows where everyone's going. He's understanding the feel of the team and they're gelling and that cohesion. And it's just like now it's becoming formidable. And you could see that when Boston comes in here last night, and I don't know how I want to say this, because some people might say that Boston didn't play their best or have a great game last night. But when Jaylen Brown goes for 30 and Tatum goes for 25 and Marcus Smart's out there and Reggie Williams is healthy and Brogdon's on the court and Derek White's on, you beat them at full strength.
Yeah, you did.
And the Nuggets weren't at full strength. And I'm not sitting here going to say that the Nuggets are a ton better than, because they beat the mess out of us a couple months ago or, earlier this season. Was that this season?
That was this season.
They beat us down
November to, I think, something. Yeah. They
was November 11th. They beat us 131-112 in Boston. Yeah. So they season split it. But it's like, and Murray played that game, but it's like they pretty much went wire to wire for the most part and handled him for the majority of that game.
Yeah, I guess number one, I say years ago, people were talking about Joker becoming a leader and what he had to do and just show up, speak up, be more aggressive to here, be less aggressive here, whatever it was. And I think this year he's just proven to be a leader on and off the court. I mean, I know it's just symbolism or just a minor thing, but it is a big thing when he talked on an interview about how they were teasing him about his clothes and how he's as sharp as can be, and his wife picking him out, and he just looks so great coming in, and he talked about that he's treating it like a business. This is his job, this is his business, he enjoys it, he is passionate for it, and he's a leader in that respect. And he basically said, I hope other people come with me. And so we just have to, we'll pay attention to that.
You're talking about the suit quote when they were like, "Oh, you look good." That was against Memphis, and he said, "I'm here for work."
Yeah, I'm here for work.
You know what it is. He said it over the offseason. He's like, I want to be the Tim Duncan of the
Right.
Denver Nuggets.
He said it.
But in order to do that, I got to win a championship.
I got to win a championship.
And I think that something clicked in him, and it's hopefully a lot of it. It's a lot of lip service. A lot of people say it, and everyone should say it. If you're a competitive professional athlete, that you want to win an NBA championship or you want to be the best. You want to be one of the remembered all the best. I think he's got the statistical things. He's kind of like reached like Giannis when Giannis got back-to-back MVPs. Like, I got the stats. I've got the recognition.
I want to win the
I've started an all-star game. You know what I mean? I want a ring.
Yeah.
And I think Jokic is in that.
Yes.
And as a Nuggets fan, I pray to God it's this season.
Yeah.
But if it's not, I know he's at least on the quest too. And the window's
I'm not
open.
Sure. I mean, mark it down. Maybe I'm hopeful. I'm not so sure it won't be this year. I mean,
I think I was mentioning
who's
this.
Any better than us? Really?
No team is.
Boston just came in here and got smoked. So
I would say this: no team is technically better than us, but like the whole NBA landscape is very open
Yeah,
too. Like
it's open.
I can see us winning it. Golden State, you can't count out.
Never can.
Brooklyn, yes, because they're playing really good basketball right now. But we'll have to see what happens when they get in the series.
Mm-hmm.
Boston, Bucks are like, and then of course maybe you
might
throw Miami in there, and you might throw Memphis in there.
You miss Cleveland. You also miss.
I'm not adding
miss Philadelphia.
The reason I miss those two teams is because I don't believe they're going to win the championship.
What about Memphis? You don't think Memphis?
I said Memphis. I said Memphis. I flat out
New Orleans in that group as
I
well.
don't think they're going to win a championship either.
So you think so maybe this is a mix of not Nuggets and just Nuggets.
Yeah.
If we had to tier it, so would you say the Nuggets are in tier A of actual contenders to win it?
Okay, let's do it even better. Are we talking the NBA
in
now. Total, just not
total,
Western
including
Conference?
the Nuggets?
Okay, which now I ask the question.
The tier of teams that could win it all.
Yes.
You would say Boston.
Yes.
The Nets.
Yes.
Milwaukee.
Yes.
So the top three in the East.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nuggets.
Yes.
Yeah.
Memphis.
Yes.
And
Golden
we have
State.
to Golden State.
And that's it. That's all.
Do you think those are the six in tier A?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Dallas.
I don't agree.
I think Dallas
tier B. So tier B would be your Dallases, your Phoenix, who's currently getting smoked by the Nets. Knicks. Cleveland, Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Precisely. And then New Orleans.
Because you know why?
And the Clippers were they're chopped liver. Lakers are chopped liver.
They go as Kawhi goes, as Paul George goes. I just don't know.
You would just say they're the next tier down.
You know what?
You might even say they're in tier C.
No, I think they're in tier B.
NBA is a weird sport where you have to earn your stripes to win championships. Yes. And the team, sometimes when you get like a New Orleans, to see them go from barely making the playoffs to being the team that comes out the West doesn't happen like it does in a football or in a football league.
I would raise you the Suns, but continue.
The Suns didn't win,
but they did make it out the West.
But the Bucks beat them. I'm talking about teams that are going to win the championship. You can get to the finals, I guess, because Miami Heat did it that year in the bubble.
Yeah.
But when it comes to winning the championship, that's really earned, and it comes from that scar tissue. It comes from that hurt. Even when Golden State made that leap from Mark Jackson years to Steve Kerr year, you got to remember they beat the Nuggets in 2013. They got to the next round. Those guys were really building a culture. Then you added Iguodala. Now you have a team. The NBA is just you earn your stripes, and I see what a lot of teams. I would say Dallas could have been there, but they didn't add to help Luka be who he needed to be.
They would say you subtracted a little bit.
They subtracted. I would say the 76ers were there, but they didn't really add much more to that team, and James Harden got a year older.
Yep.
Okay, and then what you say with Cleveland,
so did Maxey.
This is their first year putting that team together.
Yeah.
And then New Orleans, they're coming up, but I haven't seen Zion play 80-plus games, and I haven't seen him in a playoff. Is he going to be able to adjust, or when teams make adjustments to them? I don't know. Brandon Ingram's out right now for New Orleans.
Yeah.
There's a lot of issues that I see with New Orleans. Not saying they're not a good basketball team, but I would have no problem playing them in the playoffs. That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't be scared of them in the playoffs. The only team I would be scared about playing in the playoffs in the West right now is Golden State. Because it doesn't matter what their rank is. We know what their pedigree is. We know how good of a team they are. Memphis,
they're getting there.
I think they're a good basketball team. I just think we're a better version of them. Yeah. I think they're a young team. We're just a little bit. We're a little young. We're a little bit older, but we're about the same path as them, and we've been on the path a little bit quicker. And no one on their team is guarding Joker.
I think the word you would say there is we're more experienced than they are.
Yeah.
I would say we give them flack, and you guys, the listeners, and the Nuggets Nation. we give Mike Malone flack, but I would say he's a better head coach as well.
Yeah. We just beat a lot of these teams you're talking about.
And we just beat them.
And we just seen them. And so we know they don't have a answer for Joker, many of them. And they just don't.
Whoever answers Joker is going to get paid a lot of money.
I know it. But the teams that do best, like Boston last night, they had to put Kankar out there. They had to get some length and some height out there last night to get it done with Joker out there. And in the past, we have AG, we have people we could throw out there that are good defenders and scorers that can help now in the paint and rebounding and all this stuff. And so I just think that we are positioned very well to make noise in the playoffs.
And I think the thing with Golden State that still would give us an issue is because they have those they run the perimeter. Yeah. And when you're talking about our team, the struggle that the Nuggets have had has largely been defense. Like even though we brought in good defense players, Christian Braun makes some good plays. Bruce Brown plays good defense. KCP plays good defense. Aaron Gordon plays good defense. We have not put that together as a whole yet, and that's where we need to go next. We need to become very much a better defensive team as we keep going down the
since
the
we're
year.
at this, early in the new month. I would love for Mike Malone, Coach Malone, to stress that. I know he stresses it all the time, but if they can spend this next 31 days hammering home what you just said on the defensive end, because it's very much so in their DNA to be good.
We're full circle now with your comment and where we started about Joker being a leader. Joker's talking about defense all the time. I mean, many interviews I've heard him talk about it. Yeah. So I think they're talking within. They just say, okay, we know we could shoot. We do. Yeah. But we couldn't say that years ago. We're a 3-point shooter is one of the best in the NBA now. And so we got that done. We got to get the other side done so we can have the full complement of what you need to be a champion. So I think.
Yeah. One note before we head on to the next segment is going back to Christmas. That was probably one of my favorite Nuggets games over the last couple of weeks. Yeah. By far. It went to overtime because we just needed more of it. And it just made me smile because Shamet, who's just a specialist. I've always wanted him to be a Nugget from when he was with the Clippers. And when he went to the Suns, I hoped he came to the Nuggets that year. But, obviously that didn't occur. So he's been a good role player for them for a couple of seasons now. And he was just lighting up the Nuggets. I think he had 25, 30.
Oh, yeah.
But then
our boy, your boy specifically, JJ, AG, put that man on such a poster. Yeah. Oh my Lord!
Oh my God, AG. It took the bill. It took AG had the last couple of
a ton. He's booming out right now. Yeah. Even the behind the buck reverse dunk last night was disgusting. But when he dunked on Shamet, it just took the air out of the building. Yeah. It's already a mile high, so it's already limited in that capacity of oxygen. And you remove the rest of it, my Lord. Yeah. And then they had the nerve to call offensive blocking, and that just, that took the hype up even more. And they're like, oh, count the basket.
That reminds me of semi-pro when they throw that first alley-oop, and he's like, that's a foul. Now that's 2 fouls. Because the way he dunked on him, they're like, it had to be something.
Yeah.
And just on one quick point, I'd also put the Clippers potentially in they're AB. Yeah, I want to say AB because they're AB. And then the last point before we go into the non-Nuggets, I do want to say last night was crazy. I feel like we have to mention it. That 35-minute delay was insane.
It was.
It made no sense. And I don't know the details of all it. I know the bubble had to get in the middle, but that was incredibly long. I feel like they could have brought in a new rim at a certain point.
Could have.
They had the rim. The TV showed that it was a rim on the ground.
Yeah, and they removed it and they put up a new one.
And that's finally when it started working.
Yeah, and I just think the Nuggets, looking at their schedule, the upcoming ones, so they just beat Miami on Friday, beat Boston last night. They have Minnesota this evening, which for us, the Tim Conley fans of the world, I want to win that game. Then you have the Clippers, who we just said are, upper echelon of the West. And then you have Cleveland. And then also on top of that, 3 of your next 6 games are on national television. Ooh. So you're playing well at the right time right now. But this is also a good time to, like what we just mentioned, start locking in on defense and improving in that area of the game because you'll have more eyeballs on you, have more hype on you. And also, the bullseye on your back is going to get a lot larger because you guys are playing well. You have the 2-time MVP who's garnering more attention for his play this season. You're healthy. You're formidable in every sense of it now. So I would say lock in on defense and just continue to execute because you guys are talented enough to win, as many games as you want to.
Yeah.
All right, let's switch over to not Nuggets. And I would say Joker is the Western Conference Player of the Month, but that would be ultra fandom when you see somebody like Luka go for 60, 21, 10. The only person in NBA history to do that as a triple-double, and then he follows it up. I just want to read you his stats real quick. From the last 5 games, he's averaging 45.6, 11 rebounds, and 10 assists.
That's pretty bad.
To say the Euro basketball players have taken over the NBA, I think it's officially their league at this point.
Yeah.
You got Giannis, Luka, and Joker.
Yeah.
But yeah, what do you all think about Luka's phenomenal play right now?
I mean, when you do something, the NBA is 76 years old now, and you how many great players you have? Will Chamberlain's numbers are disgusting when you hear those. Oscar Robertson, Elgin Baylor, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Shaq. Magic Johnson. They've all done crazy things, but no one, even James Harden. I'll throw James Harden in there. He's got some stat lines that are absurd.
Yeah, Russ has some crazy
LeBron.
LeBron.
But when someone does 60, 21 rebounds and 10 assists, and that's a stat line that's never been done, you got to give credit where credit's due. And then on top of that, how it's done. He's at the free throw line, misses on purpose, gets it, hits the thing to send him into overtime, does that little funky little dance.
At the end.
I'm sure if I was a Dallas fan, I would be chomping at the bit for them to get somebody else in here with Luka, not waste this wonderful period of his career here.
Yeah, he's young, but I realize the thing about NBA is there's always a new young crop coming in. Like if you don't seize the moment and go win you a championship, it will pass you by, and you could be looking at. Well, Dirk did a good job. Remember, if you want to talk Dallas, Dirk didn't win for a long time of his career, and then they won with one of the oldest teams in basketball history. It was a team of vets that won that championship.
They snuck that one, and it was like they had to get it because that Miami dynasty was coming, and they had to grab it.
You don't want Luka to wait that long, especially when you can put good talent around.
Yeah, and here's the thing:
who do you go out there and grab?
You know the trade deadline's coming.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
So I would be looking for somebody.
You know what I'd want for him, and this may not happen. I don't know how you even get this trade to go through, but Jimmy Butler. I think Luka and Butler would be a crazy combination.
That's a free agent.
That would be a type of move where you're like,
we have to look at. I haven't looked at any of this, so I can't even speak to it. Who's going to be, free in the summer that you could rent or whatever they call it.
I think if I don't know the GM of Dallas by name, but if I was him or her, I would look at a team that started out pretty hot and who's now kind of fizzled and got back to where we figured they would be, and that's the Utah Jazz. Because I think they have a lot of solid pieces and sound pieces. If they were able to snag like a Malik Beasley or Jared Vanderbilt to like shore up their front and back court a little bit, I think it's not a championship level play, but you can make that move with a larger signing to get someone there.
Give Luka a little rest.
Even last year they got Dinwiddie. It wasn't the best, but they went to the Western Conference Finals. So like something like that even. And I would just kind of like look at a team like that. Hell, even maybe Minnesota. I know Tim Connelly likes only trading in division, so he might not, trade into a different division. But maybe.
We'll see. I mean, it needs to be done.
And maybe you go take, and this is not a championship move, but maybe you go take some of that young talent from Orlando too. They have some good young talent guys that maybe can turn into another.
The two teams that you named have a lot of our team.
Yeah,
our old team on them.
Yeah, those two teams, and then you have what's that other? Oh, Washington.
Yeah,
because you got Wes Ansel, and then you got
someone you get.
What's his name? Monte Morris and them.
And Barton. Yeah.
But let's switch over to the Nets. They're on an 11-game winning streak. They won last night. They're trying to make it 12 tonight. What do you think about what you're seeing from there?
Okay, here's what I think.
Oh.
Finally, they've been trying and not, just all kinds of stuff. I mean, they're uber talented, but they cannot get it to gel because either somebody's out or somebody's ill or somebody's sick And so now they got all their pieces. I mean, their main people, three main people.
Yeah.
Playing well together and wanting to be there and giving it their all, and their talent is rising. And so good for them. They got to deal with Giannis over there and the Boston over there.
I would say that was the most backhanded compliment.
I'm just saying.
You could hear the sarcasm just raining out of your voice. I think
I love KD.
You know what? When I will agree with you. They're finally clicking at the level they should. And when you look at them on paper, you'd be like,
oh yeah,
this team should probably win the East.
Yeah.
And if they shouldn't win the East, I mean, they should definitely be, in the Final Four.
Yeah.
When it gets down to the Eastern Conference Final, I expect them to be there just based off of what they have and the turmoil they've gone through on and off the court so far this year. They fired a head coach in this season, so it's like, but they're finally getting to a point where it's at least working.
It's working.
But I don't know if this is a saying or I'm making this up right now. Championships aren't won in January, so keep it up, Nets. Keep it up.
And I say the same for the Nuggets, but I also will add a caveat since you all didn't take this point. They're doing this all with a backup or an interim coach. I think you lose Steve Nash, who was trying to make them play. I don't know if this is how Steve Nash how it was, but he grew up in those Suns eras where it was all about trying to run up scores and beat people to the point, and all offense, no defense. And what the Nets are doing now is playing really strong defense. You got Ben Simmons playing stronger. KD's taking pride in defense. Kyrie's obviously a scoring machine. So you have the talent finally gelling together. And speaking of talent has been gelling together for a long time. LeBron celebrated his 30th birthday.
Yeah.
30th.
I mean, on the 30th of December. He celebrated on the 30th of December.
Yes.
His 38th.
His 38th
Yeah,
birthday.
there you go.
By giving the whole NBA a show with 47 points, was it?
Yeah.
And I think it's just cool to see somebody play well on their birthday, and at the age he is, he's 30 plus 8 now.
He's phenomenal.
And he's playing great basketball right now. So, what any thoughts on the show that was in Atlanta?
Stop me when you've heard this one before. LeBron is good, and I think it's just if anything, we learned anything through COVID and the subsequent loss of it is life's too short.
Yeah, it is.
And then when we lost Kobe, and and then you see other players retire like Dirk and Tim Duncan and Michael Jordan before that, and all the greats before them, and Bill Russell passed away as well. Just appreciate greatness while you have it. Tom Brady, different sport, is not having a great season, but when you see him go out and ball out and does what he does, it's like, appreciate it. You can hate for all you want. There's LeBron haters, there's Brady haters, whatever it is, but like,
they're good.
They're fantastic, and when they have like one of those turn the clock back moments. When Bron is just on his birthday, just dogging the Hawks, enjoy it.
He's not sitting around.
As long as it's not happening to the Nuggets, I'm cool with it.
Right.
He could go for 50 every night for all I care.
He's not sitting around moping because AD is in and out and still has some, some
he'd be
on the court.
Downright depressed if he was moping every time AD was hurt.
Yeah, I know. So, but he, what he wants to do. He wants to get to the playoffs. He wants to be in championship mode. He wants to do all that, and it's going to be a heavy lift, but it's what he's playing his heart out. So you got to respect him.
And I'll add some color to this. There's only been one other person to have a 45-point game
at that age.
Do you know who it is?
Michael Jordan.
There we go. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And let's end this with the 2 minutes remaining. I think it's cool since it's New Year's that we start with our wishes for the Nuggets or the NBA. What is your wish for the NBA, for the Nuggets as we enter this new year?
Okay, since I'm a homer, this is a selfish wish. I wish our fans Denver Nugget fans would get out and vote for All-Star voting. We got it. Joker's going to be in there. Whether he gets in by the fans or the coaches, he's getting a Joker. I'm saying AG and I'm saying Jamal. We need them all to get in there. And they say, okay, where are your standings in the conference? We're number 1. We need to have at least 2, if not 3. Yeah. And so, that's what I'm thinking. And then I think that Bones should be in the game, whatever they call that now.
Rising Stars.
Rising Stars. And so should CB. You know, he should be in it too for his defensive. You know, I don't. You know, if not, if they seeded and he's not, he should be on the substitute list, just like Bones was last year too. Because now what? We're number 1 in the West. If we could keep it up through January, be up there in the top, whatever tier that people say, oh, they're good, and we need to pull some people off of those teams.
Excuse my ignorance, but like, who's a good rookie this year? Like, I mean, the guy from Paulo, he's on a pretty decent team.
Yeah,
my guy from
Indiana,
Matherin.
Matherin's playing good basketball.
Fall off. That I guess that's, I don't know. What's more? Excuse my ignorance there.
So that's my wish. That's my hope for New Year's wish for the NBA and for Nugget fans to just do all-star voting. You can vote, you know, on some sites every day, and I just want our team in it.
All right, Chris, what you got?
My wish. It's a homer wish. I just hope the Nuggets stay healthy, and I would love to see them in the Final Four, if not the Final 2 this year.
We want the Final 2.
I would love that.
I want the Final 1.
Yeah, right.
I would love the Final 1.
I want a parade.
I see now it feels like they have a parade in Colorado with the Avs. We need another one. We're spoiled now. We want all of them except Denver Broncos. But that's another topic for another day.
You know, I'm off. This is sort of off, but you know, Cronky Sports have, you know, they trend with champions.
Yeah, they've seen a lot now. He's seen the one with the Rams too,
and the Avs, and so why not the Nuggets?
We kind of went on it, touched on it with Mavericks, and what's a move at the trade deadline? We could continue to fodder over this as the next couple episodes. But for the Nuggets, is there a move, or is it kind of like stay pat? Because I think they could stay pat. They just need to get healthy and continue to gel. I don't think you want to unearth any of these things. You know, shift any moving pieces.
We can have more. I always have some more help on our bench.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
But who do you move?
I think you enforce the bench.
That.
I think you can trade some. I think you can trade some of the like Davon, Najee. Those are good players. Maybe a team wants them to develop them a little bit more.
Develop them faster.
And we can get somebody on an aspiring contract there.
Yeah. That would be something like that, but nothing to do with the starters.
I think as far as scoring, we could add Carmelo Anthony.
You got it in.
And I think that would help.
Is that your wish?
No, that's not my wish at all. But, you know,
seems like a wish.
I just wanted to let you know that he's out there still. 15 points a game would be good off the bench. I think he'd gel with actually Bones, because Bones would,
or DJ.
Bones would be getting to the rim and passing it out to Carmelo. We'd add another scorer from the bench, and we already have some defense in CB and all that. So I think we could do that.
As we all know, that when the championship window is open. I believe it's open this season. Definitely next. What do you think about trading like an asset like a Peyton Watson? I know we all three of us, this is a Peyton Watson podcast. We all think that he has crazy upside and will be a good player in this league. However, do we see him becoming a vital piece of a championship run in 2022-2023 season or the 2023-2024 season? At this moment in time, with my crystal ball of what I've seen in the past and just hypothesizing going forth, I would say no. So if you can move a piece like him and a Najee and hell, even a Ish Smith, I'm open to see what they could get back to help bolster that bench. But I personally don't think you need to make a move. But
no, I think if you think you have to make a move, it would be at that level. Okay, it wouldn't be anybody in that's up in the top 10 on the team that play players. So that's where it would be, and that would just be help for, you know, the second quarter when Joker goes out and the bench comes in, and you know, Bones is not, you know, not gearing up yet because he's a little microwave to me. When he heats up, it's over. And he starts getting happy and entertaining the fans and just going crazy out there. You know, I don't know. I don't want to compare him necessarily to Jamal, but when Jamal gets mad and plays like his life depends on it.
He's like when Jamal was young, when he's being a little pested players, getting in people, talking to the side, shooting shots at the last second. That unwritten NBA rules. Yeah. Bones is that guy, but you can tell that he doesn't fear anybody either, which is really good.
No, we saw him last night going back with Jaylen Brown. Yeah. So. We like Jaylen Brown didn't want any of that smoke.
I'll just make one point to that. I actually like Peyton Watson. I think he could actually stay on our team. It really just would depend on who would be trading. Like I don't think you just give him up unless you really get something useful.
That's going to help.
Same with like a Jeff Green. I love Jeff Green.
Yep.
I want him on the team. Yep. It'd have to be a good trade for him. And I don't think we necessarily need to make that trade.
No.
DeAndre Jordan would be another person. But those are all like good chemistry guys though too.
And they're good in the locker room.
Championship-esque kind of guys. So I don't think you need to get rid of them. I would say I think we're in a good spot.
We're in a spot. Good spot.
I think you make small moves, not big moves, especially as considering we've made moves every year for the last three years, I believe.
Yeah, you don't. Sometimes you gotta you can't watch. What is it? Water boil. Yeah. You can't watch the pot. Boil, yeah. We got all the ingredients. Mm-hmm. Just let it simmer and cook. Let it cook and not mix it anymore.
And did you have something else you?
I was gonna just quick to your point, Jays, is that they're always injured. Someone's always out too. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like. That'd be a welcome addition when we get Jamal back. It'll be a welcome addition when we get Jeff Green back. And it'll be a very new team when they're all healthy at the same time together. Yeah. Because how many times has that happened this season? Not too many. So, so that's even kind of like a trade when you can add a Jamal Murray back. You can add a Michael Porter Jr. You can add a Jeff Green. That's like getting some valuable minutes off the bench that you weren't. But once more, you never know. With Tim Conley in the division now, you could maybe get like an Anthony Edwards or something.
For a couple picks.
Yeah, right.
I said my wish. I don't know if I even mentioned it, but I would say Bones Highlands for the Sixth Man of the Year because I did put a bet on that one. So
you got money involved.
I would like to see him win Sixth Man of the Year.
Not because you think that he deserves.
Oh yeah, no. It's well
because
documented.
He's going to aid Kyle.
It's well documented that I said Bones has been the truth for all year. Yeah. And also giving a quick shout out to a nugget we didn't really get to is Vlatko. Vlatko has been playing great basketball,
Wonderful.
So I just wanted to get him in on this episode.
And Jeff Green's bunnies, bro. That dude has been hooping.
Never stopped.
When he's on the court, he's booming like it's 2008.
Yeah.
He's got a bounce, crazy bounce, and he's just a great leader for the team, leader of men. So this is a great team, and I think this has been one of my favorite teams.
Yeah.
I've ever been a fan of the Nuggets for a long time. This has been one of my favorite teams to watch.
Yeah, I'd say the same, and I'm excited for this year, 2023. It's time to win this championship. But this is K-Dot for the Just Nuggets podcast, signing off. And I just want to say thank you all for another great episode.
Yep. See you soon.
Make sure to follow us on all social networks at Just Nuggets Pod. And we'll talk to you soon. Take care.
Catch us on Twitter. Happy New Year.